Hi everyone, in this Framer tutorial we're gonna create this circular arc animation, taking advantage of the great scroll variant feature of Framer. We switch to different variants of the arcs component as we scroll down to show the current section's title and icon while rotating the arc. You can find the links for both starter and finished files in the description, so let's see how we can create something like this. First, I'd like to mention pre-made elements that I have to keep the tutorial shorter. We have this arcs frame with two arcs. One is at the background and the other one is at the front, which we are rotating in the other variants. I created the arcs using circle graphics in Framer and using subtract in path operations. After creating a circle, I'm gonna duplicate it to quickly demonstrate how I did it. After making it a different color, then I will select both of the oval layers in the graphic and I'm gonna click subtract. Now I will create a rectangle at least as wide as the circles, and then all I need to do is carry the rectangle over the circles to create my arc shape, right? This was basically how I created the arc shape. After that, I duplicated the BG arc. Actually, let me make arc wraps frame overflow visible to show the second arc, the one that we are rotating. After duplicating it, I've applied a gradient to it, and of course I placed it in this arc wrap frame to show it by rotation. I also have these arc texts that I added from framer.supply. I hid them since we're not gonna use them in the first variant of the arcs by making their opacity 0. And we have also this gradient BG layer, which has a gradient from background color to transparency to make the rotating text fade out with a gradient from background color to transparency. And we also have a text BG color with point for opacity and background blur to make the rotating second arc, which is this one, to make the second arc text subtle. Other than that, I have this top BG layer with fixed position to hide the scrolling text with fade out, again with a background color to transparency gradient. When we preview, we can see the text goes behind the arcs with a nice fade out. The remainder of the pre-made elements are quite simple. We only have this section frame and this sample footer section with a go to top button at the very bottom. Let's start with the arcs component. So I'm gonna make it a component. Before creating other variants, I will click spring and make the bounce 0. Since we don't want our arc to bounce, a little bounce can look nice in some other animations, but not in this one. And I'll create a new variant, and in the new variant, first I will select the arc frame under the arc wrap and rotate it 45 degrees clockwise to make its rotation -135. Under the arc text wrap, I will make the opacity of the first arc 1, and since it already has the first steps text, I'll leave it as it is. I will also make second arc text visible by making its opacity 0.3, since it needs to be a secondary text. I will finish this variant's edits by changing the icon it has with groups. I will add another variant, and first I will rotate its arc again 45 degrees clockwise to make its rotation -90 degrees, and then I will select both of the arc texts and paste their content, make their rotate 27 degrees to center them, although I could just enter some angle here in the arc component properties, but I preferred transforming them this way. Then I will select the second arc text, and in its content box I will leave a space and paste its content again, as it is gonna be a spinning background arc, as we need it to be as continuous as possible. And I will change this variant's icon to palette. I will add a new variant. Again, I'll start by rotating its arc 45 degrees clockwise to make its rotation minus 45. I select both arc texts and paste their new content, make their rotation 30 degrees. Then in the second arc text, the one that we're using for the background animation, I'm gonna leave a space and paste test accessibility twice. Then I'll change its icon to laptop. Then I'll create the last variant that I need for the arcs component. Again, rotate its arc to make it 0. Select both arc texts and paste their content, make their rotation 44 degrees. And I'm gonna select second arc text, leave a space, and paste its content 3 more times. Then I will change its icon to refresh. Now we can go back to home screen. As I see it, arc's component's position has changed, so I'm gonna enter 100 for its top spacing to take it back to its original position first. Then we can start creating the section component, right? After turning the section frame into a component, I will select its text and clicking the content on the right panel, I will create a formatted text variable. Now, after going back to home screen, we can duplicate the section component and change its text content for the second section that I've generated with ChatGPT. I will go ahead and duplicate and replace the content for other sections. If you're following along the tutorial and building with me, you can copy the contents from the finished file. Then we need to add scroll sections to them to be able to assign sections as triggers for the arcs component variant, right? I will start with first section and I'm gonna make its scroll section 2 to keep things non-complicated since it's gonna be the trigger for the second variant. And I'll continue adding scroll sections for the other sections. After assigning all of the scroll sections, I will add scroll variant effect to the arcs component. I'll select section in view as trigger and the viewport is gonna be center. For section, I will select 2 and the variant is gonna be variant 2. 3 for variant 3 and so on. Now we can preview to test the variance of the arcs component, right? We can see as we scroll down, our progress arc gets rotated. Icon and title get changed, showing the content for the current section, right? I hope you liked the tutorial. If you want to see more, be sure to subscribe, turn the notifications on, check my other tutorials and see you in the next one.